Hello. One of the important topics for your PMP exam is the critical path method. This is covered under the planning process group and the schedule management knowledge area. So let's get started. The critical path method helps in estimating the minimum project duration, and it allows us to see the flexibility that we have on the various activities within our logical network paths when we are creating the schedule. So we do that by calculating the early start, early finish, late start and late finish date of the activities, and by calculating this we can calculate the float within the schedule, and with that we'll be able to see where we have the flexibility, which are the activities which we can delay and which activity is dependent on which of the activities. So we establish the relationship by creating the network diagram, and then we enter the dates within them, and then we see the flexibility. So now let's see what these terms are. Let's say there are two activities within the schedule, activity A and activity B. Duration of activity A is 3 days and duration of activity B is 2 days. Now suppose activity A starts on 1st of January. Now since the duration of activity A is 3 days, earlier finish date of activity A would be 3rd January, because we will require 3 days for that activity to complete. Now latest by when activity B can start depends on the finish date of the earlier activity, because there is a relationship between these two activities. So this activity can start on 4th of January and it will require 2 days to complete. So earlier this activity can complete is 5th of January. So that is earlier finish date. This is earlier start date. Now we know that we require 5 days for these two activities to complete. So latest by when activity B must be completed is 5th of January. And now in order for activity B to complete on 5th of January, it must have been started on 4th of January, because it requires 2 days of work. So that this is latest start and late finish. Now in order for activity B to start on 4th of January, it must have been finished on 3rd of January, so that we'll be able to start this activity on 4th. And in order for activity A to finish on 3rd of January, it must have been started on 1st of January, because it requires 3 days of work. So this is called as late start and late finish. Now let's look into this example. This is our schedule network diagram, and there is a relationship between the successor activities and the predecessor activities. And the project starts with activity A and activity B, and the duration and the activity names are mentioned in the center of the boxes. So it starts with two activities. So on 1st of Jan, activity A and activity B will start. Now we'll first do the forward pass calculation. That means we'll start with the start date and we'll go towards the finish date, and then we will do the backward pass calculation. That means we'll start with the finish date and we'll go towards the start date. So activity A and activity B start on 1st of Jan, and since activity A requires 8 days to finish, the earlier finish date would be 8. Earlier start date for activity C would be 9, because activity A gets over on 8th and it requires 5 days to complete. So earlier it can be finished is 13th. Now activity G can start on 14th and it requires 4 days. So it will get over on 17th. And now coming back to activity B, it requires 3 days. So earlier finish date would be 3. Now there are two activities which are starting after completion of activity B. So activity D and activity F both can start on 4th, and since activity D requires 3 days, it will get over on 6 and this will get over on 5. Now activity E requires both activity D and activity F to complete. So the earlier start date for activity E would be 7th, though activity F gets over on 5th, but since activity D is completing on 6th, the earliest start date for activity E would be 7th. It requires 3 days, so it will get over on 9th. Now activity H requires both G and E to complete. So even if activity E is completing on 9th, we cannot start activity H until 18th. And it requires 2 days, so it will get over on 19th. Now we know that we require 19 days to complete our project. So latest finish date for activity H would be 19th, and now we will do the backward pass calculation. And in order for activity H to complete on 19th, it must have been started on 18th, and here it must have been finished on 17th so that we can start the next activity on 18th. And in order for activity G to complete on 17th, it must have been started on 14th. Here as well it must be 17th and 14th. 15th rather. Now this activity must have been finished on 13th, and in order for that it must have been started on 9th. Activity A must have been started on 8th and 1. Now latest start date for this activity is 15th. So both activity D and activity F must have been completed on 14th. And in order for activity D to complete on 14th, it must have been started on 12 because it requires 3 days. And since this required 2 days, it must have been started on 13th. Now in order for activity D to start on 12th, activity B must have been completed on 11th. Though this needs to be started on 13th, but since both these activities start after activity B, so the latest finish date for activity B should be 11th, and since it requires 3 days, so this will be 9. Now here few interesting things have happened. For these activities, activity A, C, G and H, there is no difference between early start date and late start date, or early finish date and late finish date. They are same. But for these activities, activities B, D, E and F, there is a difference between early finish, late finish, or early start, late start. So this provides us the flexibility. Here there is a difference of 8 days. Here as well is a difference of 8 days, and here there is a difference of 9 days. So when you see that there is no flexibility, that's your critical path. That means you cannot delay any of the activities on that path. So that is your critical path, and that is also the longest path of your schedule. So here A, C, G, H, that is our critical path, but on other activities, activity B, D, E and F, you do have some flexibility. So that is called as float. So you do have float of 8 days on activity B, D and E, and float of 9 days on activity F. That means you can delay activity B, D or E by 8 days, or you can delay activity F by 9 days and can still complete your project on time. So that is called as float, and this is how we identify the flexibility on the project, and this method is called as the critical path method. So in summary, in critical path method, we calculate the early start, early finish, late start and late finish date of the activities, and from that we calculate the float. We see the flexibility within the project schedule, and where we do not have the flexibility, where we do not have the float, that's our critical path. So critical path is the longest path of the schedule. I will see you in the next lesson. Till that time, thank you.